angry guy here. And today I'm discussing why my master's thesis defense was frightening. I'm also going to tell you about how I passed. Okay, so if you are in a similar situation where you're working on your uh, defense for your thesis, for your defense for your master's, or even for your PhD, I'm also going to provide some great tips at the end of the video explaining how I was able to pass and what you can also utilize to get through this very difficult process. And yes, it is a difficult process. Okay, so I'm just going to jump into it because it really is something. So, how did I pass my master's thesis defense? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But first off, I just want to say it was so frightening. My master's thesis defense was frightening. For those of you that don't know what a thesis defense is, I will basically explain that to you now. So, during a defense, a student will be asked to ask questions by members of the thesis committee. And the thesis committee is usually made up of faculty members. So, like people you pretty much already know, but not always. All right. A defense might take only 20 minutes, or it might take an hour or more, depending on the goal of the committee and the requirements of the program. Oh my gosh. It's like this it brings me back to this moment. And it's so like it's like the nightmare, okay? Now, there's a lot of things that should be included in your thesis presentation. All right. With a good presentation, you'll be able to better equip yourself to present your thesis, and that structure can really go a long way. But keep in mind, it's not. You still have to be able to present well. All right. And now the actual thesis itself is basically like it's just a bunch of paper. It's basically a research document that you're looking at something and you're trying to find out, how can you improve on something? And you're like, you actually you earned a mask. And my thesis was in a hard subject. It was an Alzheimer's progression and reducing the progression of Alzheimer's. And so my thesis, I forget how long. It's usually they say 40 to 80 pages, but that's nonsense. I don't know too many schools that let you get away with 40 pages. And I think the bare minimum usually is like 80, but they can go up to like 120, all right, or more sometimes. So the length of mine was, I think, somewhere between 100 and 120 pages, maybe. And that doesn't include the bibliography, of course. All right. The length's going to vary a lot based on the topic and a number of other factors. But anyway, I'm boring you with the facts. So you understand what a thesis is now. And basically, for a lot of master's programs, you got to do one. You also have to do a defense for a PhD. So I get to my program. All right. I get to the program. I get to my defense, right? The day of the defense. And I am like literally pooping bricks. Because like I had spent an entire year working on this thing, sweat, blood, and tears to finish this thing. It was a nightmare for me, total utter nightmare. I mean, like I struggled. I had been going through a lot of things in my life at that point, and I've talked about that in another video, but I want to focus on the thesis for this one. So after all the pain, all the suffering, I have to go and buy new clothing because I didn't own a suit. I didn't have anything nice to wear, so I had to buy brand new clothes on a really limited budget. But I pulled it off. I went, bought brand new stuff, leather belt, all that other stuff, and new shoes, all of that. And I went and I was basically sitting outside the room where we'd be presenting. And I sat there and I was just so nervous because what happens if I fail? What happens if it's like all these thoughts start going through your head. And the thing is, like, I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting some more. And the thing is, I was in, I was working on a master's in health science. So of course, by this is where it gets really hard. Of course, the people who are at my defense are doctors. There's a doctor of medicine, doctors of psychology, like all kinds of stuff. Like all doctors. All right. So the people at my defense are all doctors in their respective fields, in medicine and whatever. And it was just horrible because it's literally like where you're at the doctor's office and like you're about to get bad news or good news. Like, do I have like, did I, like, you're waiting for the test results? It was so horrible. And then so after waiting like what felt like forever, they basically arrived and like marched into the room, and then afterwards I was instructed to go in. I'm just trying to remember this off the top of my head. So, and I'm like literally frightened to death. And I prepared as best as I could. And like I said, I had stuff going on, but I prepared my hardest. So, a year of this madness all comes to this moment. And keep in mind, the graduation is literally taking place like a week after my defense. I don't know. It was like I don't think it was like a week after the defense. The graduation is supposed to happen. So hey, you don't don't pass your defense. No graduation, bro. Oh my gosh. And I was like, I didn't want to go to the graduation. I didn't want to go to the graduation either. I really didn't want to go, and I told myself, all right, listen, if you pass this, if you pull this off, you don't have to go to that graduation. And that's another story. But I'm gonna tell you, but that's another story. I'll tell you a little about that afterwards. But so I go in and I'm looking at these people and they're looking at me and I'm so nervous, and they basically tell me to start. All right. And at that moment, I breathe out and I clear my mind and I go for it. And I start talking and I start defending and I start explaining and I start going over it and I present it. And at one point, the dean who was there, she was also a medical MD. She was like really surprised because I was very, very confident. I knew what I was talking about. I had really done my research, and you could tell I had really done my research. Ironically, though, she did feel that I was a bit overly technical, which is interesting coming from a medical doctor. But in the end, I went through it. I presented. I projected confidence. I used my hands. I basically utilized body language. And this is like the part of the video that I'm explaining now, how you can pass your defense. A lot of it comes down to organization. Organize it, okay? Because once they actually accept your PhD, once they actually accept your dissertation or your thesis, then you can go on defend. The thing is that you just have to ensure that now you understand the structure of it. You shouldn't be asking questions. You're the expert, okay? You're the expert. There are times when they might ask you questions, for example, on something that you don't know. The key to answering questions like that is to say, I don't have the answer right now, but I can definitely get that. I can definitely get it to you later. All right? If you don't have the answer for something. Like if there's something that you literally don't know the answer for, don't try to like stand there and work it out in your head. Just say you don't have the answer, but you can get them the answer. Okay? You can get them the answer. And you're not expected to know everything. It's very interesting. I think part of it, I think that I suspect that part of when situations like that happen, sometimes they may throw questions at you for things that are not even directly related to your thesis, are things that they know you probably would not know, but they're not really looking for your answer in and of itself for you to answer the question. They're looking at for how you answer it, how you respond to it. How do you respond to a situation when you don't have an answer? Okay, when you don't know the answer. I think that's like the main thing that they're looking for in those situations. Granted, of course, you should know what you're doing. You know, you should know this stuff, but there are going to be times when you don't have an answer, and it's okay not to know. It doesn't mean you fail your defense. Okay, it's all about how you respond, how you think under pressure. Most of your defense is pressure, okay? A lot of it is the pressure. They want to see how you think under pressure. They want to see how you respond under pressure. Because I mean, they've already seen your defense. They've already seen your thesis, okay? They've already seen your dissertation. So it just comes down at that point to how you present, how you hold it together. And I projected confidence. I stood tall. I projected confidence. I was a little bit cocky even. I caught the dean off guard with that. I was a little cocky, you know, not cocky, but I'm very confident. Especially when they asked questions, I corrected them immediately. Like, for example, they asked a specific question, and I made sure and I corrected them on that. Like, oh, you know, I think that actually caught the MD off guard. Like, she asked something, and like, you know, I actually corrected her with confidence, and it caught her off guard a bit. And I don't know. And we got along. We got along so well, but she was like really hard. She was a little difficult on me during the defense. In the end, I passed my defense, and it mainly had everything to do with being confident, knowing my material, and being organized, organizing it, and basically and projecting confidence. That's really it. And as a result, and like I said, know your material. You need to know your thesis. You need to know the contents of your research like the back of your hand. That's your baby. You need to know it like the back of your hand. Don't just write it and think that you're going to present it and then that's it, because they're also going to look at your knowledge. If you just wrote this thing but you don't even know what's in it, then you know you can fail your defense. Because sure, you wrote a great paper, but at the end of the day, you don't even know what's in it. You see what I'm saying? You just basically strung it together. So you need to, that is your baby. And you need to know it like the back of your hand. You need to know every page. You need to know every detail. You need to know every fact. You need to memorize all of the quantitative data. You need to know every single detail of that. And you need to think about the kinds of questions that they're going to ask about this. Like, what does this do? How does this protein work? How does, at what age point does dementia typically set in? What are the genetic precursors for that? All this stuff. You want to, listen, leave no stone unturned. Leave no stone unturned. Be able to answer, at least provide a basic answer for these things. You don't have to be a genius. You just have to be able to provide a basic answer, an answer. And a lot of times you'll be surprised with the answer that you can provide. What I would do is I would literally look in the mirror and I would imagine talking to these people, and I would just basically start answering questions. Imagine what questions are they going to ask, and then I would simulate that on my own. So I mean, it was a total nightmare. And finally, the day that I passed, I had a professor who was my mentor. And he was so happy. He was running around the university. He was running around the university holding my thesis, and he was just telling everyone how awesome it was. And he was much more excited over it than I was. He was also one of the heads of the department, and I didn't want to go to the graduation. I was like, thank God, I'm done. I never want to do this ever again. And he goes, listen, if you don't come to the graduation, you're not getting your degree. He literally says, if you don't come to the graduation, you're not getting your degree. And I didn't. I was so upset. I was like, I didn't want to go, but I don't want to go to the graduation. In the end, I ended up going because like I didn't want to call his bluff. I mean, he had really worked. He had really been there for me throughout the entire process, and I didn't want to call his bluff. I know it was like it was a lot of it was just to say thank you being there. I personally, like I said, I hated the grad. Let me tell you how horrible how bad I was at the graduation. I was literally sweating bullets. I was so nervous. I got onto this. Like when you walk on the stage and you go and you get your degree. There's no degree in it. They give you like the empty. They give you like the little empty thing, like the degree holder. Okay. I was so nervous. I get on. I literally, they shake your hand. The president of the university, or the president, or whatever, whoever, the guy at the top, he shakes your hand, and I basically, guys, I literally walked up onto stage, on stage, took the thing from him, and then and literally went to take, and he goes to shake my hand, and I shake his hand quickly. I try to let go and rush off, and he grabs me and pulls me back. He's like, no, hold on, buddy. He's like, hold on, we're just gonna take some pictures. We're gonna take some pictures. I literally tried to rush off the stage. I was trying to I was like, okay, it's over. I'm getting the heck out of here. And he stopped me on the stage and pulled me back and forced me to take pictures. Okay? Take the graduation pictures that they were taking with the students. And I didn't want one. I just wanted to be in and out, bro. In and out. So like that was my experience. It was so hard. It was painful, and it sure as heck wasn't easy. It took me about 1 year to work on my thesis, and again, you just have to keep pushing through it, and you have to have confidence. But it's good things take good thing. Nothing good in life comes easily. I will say that. And Doctor in the chat says, knowing 3 or more languages is more impressive than having a master's. Oh gosh. Well, guys. So that was the experience. Shout out to Josh. Josh. Shout out to Tim. So guys, that's the experience. That's what happened with me. That's what I was really feeling. And I mean, I want you guys to think about that. I want you guys to know that you can do anything that you put your mind to, but at the same time, you also have to be diligent in everything that you do. You cannot, you can't doubt yourself. Self doubt is how you destroy yourself. It's how you destroy everything that you work hard for. It's how you fail. It's how you're going to end up failing and staying and ultimately remaining failed. That's just how it is. Guys, don't forget, I also have a brand new course. All the courses are on sale right now on cryptomoney.academy. Links in the description of the video. And you can grab any course for $99. Also, don't forget, we just put out a brand new course. I just put it out, just finished up this course. And it basically teaches you how blockchain actually works. You can get that course for $99. And this course really goes into detail, teaching you how blockchain works. You're going to learn what is blockchain technology. You're going to learn about the underlying technology of blockchain technology. You're going to learn about the various uses of blockchain technology. And you're also going to get alternatives to blockchain technology. So you're going to get a very full intensive course that's going to teach you all of these things so that you can become an expert on the blockchain. All right? So for those of you that want to learn more about the blockchain, that want to learn about the underlying technology, how it actually works, you should definitely pick up this course, because it's going to set you ahead of others, and it's also going to make you a much more informed investor when you're investing in cryptocurrency. So definitely check out this course. It's $129, but you can get it for $99 right now, and the link's in the description of the video, cryptomoney.academy. Guys, let me know what you think about my experience defending my thesis. Let me know if you've gone through anything similar, if you've had to do a defense like that, what your experience was. And we'll talk more about it in the comments. Love God, get money. And shares.